Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pink and Blue Podcast. This is episode 5. My name is Pink Boomerang.
And my name's Bluetoonz.
And today, Henry, I've got a really important question for you.
Please, let's hear it, dude.
If there's anything you could do that was illegal, and you could do it without any repercussions right now, what are you doing?
That's an excellent question.
They do call me the question master.
Yeah, they do, actually. I remember our friend Sam used to call you that all the time. Let's hear it. So, if I could do anything illegal?
Anything. No repercussions.
And get away with it. No repercussions. Yeah. I feel like I'd probably steal something. Because, like, murder, it's like, you got that on your conscience. It's like, I killed someone. But it's like stealing something. You're like, nice. I sure showed the capitalists this time.
That's what I would do. I would do something for...
And then maybe, like, sell it, and then, like, keep some of the money and, like, donate some of it to charity, and that way I could just do the world a service.
Donate some of it to charity. You're making up for your bad deed.
What store would I rob? Or does it even have to be a store? Can I rob a car dealership?
Sure.
How many cars can I steal as one person? Probably just one.
Let's say you're just stealing one thing, if you're stealing something.
I'm going to steal a Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita, which is valued at $4.8 million.
Okay.
That is the one car that I'm going to steal, and
that's the one car.
We will donate 2.4 of that those $1 million to multiple charities of choice, of course. And the other 2.4 we're going to pocket, maybe buy another car, but one that does not cost $4.8 million, because that is so much money. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Benefit a little bit for myself, benefit a little bit for society. There we go.
Right. That's what I would do. I would do something for some, monetary gain. I'd do some, like, insider trading, Mm-hmm. Like, if I knew Bitcoin was just going to skyrocket again in, like, 2 years, I'm stocking up on Bitcoin,
I mean, that's not illegal.
That's also just not how insider trading works. It's the other way around.
It's not.
Forget about that. I don't know. I'd like rob. What I would do, I guess here's my thing. I would rob what's the big art museum in France? The Louvre. I would go rob the Louvre and steal the Mona Lisa and sell it.
I mean, if there's no repercussions, it's like, this guy stole the Mona Lisa. Yeah, but we said there wouldn't be anything for it, so I guess he's off the hook.
I sell it to some, like, 80-year-old Russian guy with, like, $50 million, right? And I'm just like,
looking up,
I'll take it for 10. On a list. Like,
but I'm looking up how much the Mona Lisa is worth, and it said that it is valued at more than $1 billion.
Yeah.
So it looks like
I just said Mona Lisa because I was like, that's the big one, yeah.
Yeah, that is the big one.
Sell it to Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, boy, do I got an offer for you. You cannot get this on Amazon with 2-day free Prime shipping.
He also just doesn't have $100 billion anymore. He lost more than half of it because...
You're actually wrong. He did lose a lot of his money, but his net worth is still at $141.8 billion.
How does that make any sense if he lost... like 70% of his money?
Dude, Mackenzie Bezos, she's the 5th richest person in the world now, which I think is so funny.
She's the richest woman in the world.
She's the richest woman in the world, and she's the 5th richest person in the world. And
That's hilarious.
Has a net worth of $48.5 billion.
Yeah.
Which is still pretty insane. And that's the thing. Jeff Bezos did lose a ton of his money, but he's already made it back. Like, I checked this probably a month ago, and he was at like $112 billion.
How has he made $48 billion in a year? A couple months? I don't know when it.
A couple months. I mean, dude, Amazon.
Is Amazon just that profitable? Like,
Amazon is just that profitable. I hate to.
Is Jeff Bezos taking literally all the profit?
I mean, not all of it, obviously, but like Amazon makes a shitload of money, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know about pretty well. Their minimum wage is like $15, which is pretty good for a minimum wage. But
if you're working in the warehouses, it's like 25 or something, right?
Really?
I think so. Or maybe that's just the the one Amazon warehouse they're building out by us. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's 15 minimum wage for all U.S. employees, no matter what you're doing. So if you are making, let's see. So any job at Amazon, the least amount of money that you can make is $15 an hour. So that's pretty good. I make 10. I mean, I work at Chick-fil-A, but
I don't have a job.
That's $5 more than me. That's 1.5 times.
That's a lot. That adds up.
That does add up a lot. Speaking of rich people,
yeah,
and obscene amounts of money. I know we had already previously discussed this, but Elon Musk, his new son with Grimes, the name is X dash, or no, it's not a dash. Sorry, it's
not
X,
a dash.
and then like
it's X. They press the space bar once, and then it's the capital like combined AE symbol.
Yeah, and then space, and then A dash
space bar again.
It's just
and it's supposedly pronounced X-ash, and then the name of like the aircraft or whatever.
Yeah,
I forget.
It's called
Archangel.
The Archangel.
Yeah, which I mean that's one heck of a name.
I can't lie, it's not a bad name. Like it's kind of sick.
It is like kind of cool. Yeah,
it's definitely a bullyable offense.
Like Northwest. Shout out to Kanye, by the way.
Kanye, if you want to come on the podcast, just hit us up in the DMs.
Absolutely.
We'd love to have you on. I assure you. He has been married 2 previous times, and the woman who he just had a son with, Grimes, is his 3rd relationship officially. They're not married, but they obviously had a child together. So
I really thought they were married, but
I thought they were too, but apparently
he's too busy.
He's too busy.
I don't have time for that.
I mean, if anyone.
Plus, if it doesn't work out, then you don't have to pay.
That's true. So let's see. His first wife was Justine Musk from 2000 to 2008, and then his second wife. So his first wife and he got divorced, and then he met his second wife, Tallulah Riley, in 2010, and then they briefly divorced in 2012 and remarried in 2013, and then they divorced again in 2016.
Yeah, that's one heck of a. That's a timeline.
Dude, Elon gets around, doesn't he? Despite being a busy
man.
You
could say that. You could say that.
He has 6 children, now 7.
How many children does Trump have? Doesn't he have 6 kids?
He does have a lot of kids. I feel like I could be wrong. Oh yeah, he's got 5. We got Ivanka, Donald Trump Jr., a classic. Tiffany Trump. Right. I didn't even know she existed. Sorry, Tiffany. Eric Trump and Barron Trump. Barron I was very aware of. He's memed about a lot on the internet.
Yeah, he's 14, 15, right?
I think so. Let's see.
I think he's 14. So he's still in the White House. He's chilling over there.
He's 14. He is 5'11". Wow. A tall
he's taller
lad
than
at the
me?
age of 14.
What? Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little upset.
That's kind of ridiculous.
He's
2 inches taller than me.
Me too, dude. What's up with that?
I don't know about that. That doesn't seem right.
How tall is Trump?
Trump's a short guy. He's 5 feet.
He is 6'3". He's not short. He's just not.
He's a short Italian guy.
Yeah, you remember him?
He's a first-generation immigrant. He came over from Naples.
Dude, Melania's pretty tall, too. She's 5'11". That's also taller than me. What's up with that?
How dare
Barack
women
Obama
be taller
at 6'1", and Joe Biden at 6 foot, and Bernie Sanders also at 6 foot?
Did you just look up presidential candidates' height?
I specifically looked up Trump's height, and then it just showed a bunch of related
and
ones,
it just lists them. Okay.
Yeah,
Google just does that for you. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. He's written a lot of books.
Trump? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Trump, The Art of the Deal, Time to Get Tough, Making
classic,
America #1, Trump University, Wealth Building 101. That's a good title.
I mean, hey, anything with wealth building, right?
Donald Trump Quotes and Citations. He wrote his own book of his own quotes. That's cool.
Oh, his own quotes. Is that updated to 2020?
I believe
Can we get some?
Oh, no. It was published in 2016.
Dang it.
We got
Does he
Trump,
cite any of his
Art
tweets in there? The Art of Survival?
Dude, The Art of the Comeback, The Art of the Deal.
The
How to
Art of
Get
the
Rich.
Comeback?
There's some good ones. Oh, I really like this one. It's called Think Big and Kick Ass.
Is that the actual title?
That is what it is called. By Trump and Bill Zanker.
That's amazing. I don't know who the second guy is. I don't really care. The Art of Survival, though, that's an interesting title. Like, is Trump on Survivor? Is he on Naked and Afraid?
Oh shit, dude! Bill Zanker's got quite the set of chompers, dude.
Oh, the second guy?
Yeah, Bill Zanker. He is an American entrepreneur.
That sounds about right.
Or, sorry, he is a businessman.
Oh, okay. Because there's just such a big difference. He's a man of making money. He likes money.
He makes money as his job, as a lot of people do. But he just happens to be very good at it.
I mean, I guess that's the qualification for writing a book. Just making a lot of money, being successful, right?
Dude, I'll have you know that I could definitely write a book, and I do not have that much money, and I have not even finished high school yet, so I'm not.
Yeah, but no one's going to read your book if you're not successful.
But I could still do it.
Yeah.
You know?
But no one's going to read your book. What's the point of writing a book if no one's going to read it?
I don't know, dude. I mean, some of these Trump books are very low rated. Most of them are pretty high rated. But the Quotes and Citations is his lowest rated book.
I wonder why.
No clue, dude. I feel like that's never something that I would want. Like, if I would never want to be rich and famous at the same time.
You just want to be one of the other. Rich. Or famous.
No. Well, I mean, I feel like if you're famous, you're rich, you know? The two just kind of go hand in hand.
Gandhi.
That's true. He was not rich. But he
was pretty famous.
I feel like being famous without being rich would kind of suck, though. Because, like, everyone knows who you are and they're always in your business, but, like, you can't pay them to go away.
What about the Pope? Does the Pope own anything? Like, does he own the church?
I don't actually know how that works specifically.
I don't know either. That's why I'm...
it says he has a net worth of $28 million. So,
okay, well...
He seems to be doing all right.
He's fine.
Pope Francis is, like, a legitimately nice dude, though. Like, he seems like a good dude.
You've met him?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
He comes in the bar every Friday.
Oh, no doubt, dude.
You hang out.
I love how that he is listed. There's Pope Francis net worth 2019, money, salary, bio on Celebs Money. So he is a celebrity.
On Celebs Money?
That's kind of funny.
CelebrityWiki.com.
I just think it's kind of fun. Like, the Pope, religion is obviously a weird subject, and, like, Christianity, and I mean, not just Christianity, a lot of religions are excluding, or I guess they're exclusive in certain people who they allow to practice and, like, who they're accepting of that type of thing. But the Pope, specifically Pope Francis, the current Pope, has done, I would say, a much better job of, like, welcoming people into the Catholic Church regardless of, like, sexuality and race and gender and that type of thing.
Yeah, he wasn't the guy who started it. I think it was Pope John Paul II who started, like, the Youth Day thing. Catholic Youth Day. I forget what it's called. But Pope Francis has done a good job with, like, spreading that out to more people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Pope John Paul II, he was also taller than both of us, standing at 5 foot
why
10.
are you looking this up? Why?
I don't look up specifically heights. I just look up people, and it just happens to be there, you know?
I guess.
Just gets me curious, dude. Is everyone who's, like, has any famous significance just, like, also over 5'9"?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Like, am I just never going to be successful because I am not over 5'9"?
Danny DeVito is an over 5'9".
That's true, but maybe you have to
do
be
not
really
look
short,
him up.
too.
Do not look up his height.
You cannot be average. I actually know for a fact that he is. I think he's 5 feet tall. He is not 3'11".
He's like 3'11".
I'm looking it up now just to see. He's 5 foot. Let's go. See, but that's the thing. He's, like, short, but he's, like, charming, you know? So I guess being in the middle of the height curve, apparently 5'7" is the average, but I don't know that many people who are short, or that many men that are shorter than 5'7". It's the average for men in America.
Okay. Henry, do you believe in any conspiracy theories?
I've been waiting to talk about this for a little while. I mean, I'm not an active, like, conspiratory, like, oh, I think the government is trying to kill us. Like, they're hiding information from us so that we cannot progress as a society. I don't think that that's true. But there are some obvious examples, like, like the whole, like, Epstein, like, committing suicide or, like, not committing suicide, that type of thing. I definitely believe that he did not kill himself. I will never have 100% confirmation of the fact, but that is a conspiracy I legitimately believe in. I feel like a lot of them are not necessarily rooted in fact and based on logic, but I would say that the Epstein suicide conspiracy theory of him obviously not killing himself seems to be true in my mind. Makes the most logical sense.
I never understood how that ever took off as a meme. Like, Epstein didn't kill himself. I don't know.
No one does. No one does. I don't know why.
That's just the way the internet works, right? But
yeah, I mean, it got more attention to the issue, and they still claim that he didn't. Like, he obviously killed himself, but, like, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, you're telling me that the guards were, like, off duty and the cameras happened to be having an error at the same time, and he somehow found a way to hang himself in his cell.
I mean, people smuggle stuff into jail all the time, right?
Yeah, but not rope past the guards specifically when they're off duty and when the cameras just happen to be offline.
I don't think it's too far-fetched.
Like, there were just too many. There are a lot of things that just didn't add up.
It's just like, I guess you can apply the same logic in reverse, but to things like the moon landing, right? Like, I mean, we just happen to have this secret team of scientists that are doing all this stuff that no one else knows about, and they went to the moon, and I mean, that seems kind of far-fetched, but yeah, that's,
I mean, yeah,
we also have proof for that, so.
Yeah, exactly. The moon landing happened. The only reason I don't really believe that Epstein killed himself is because, like, they don't give any evidence. They're just like, yeah, well, I mean, he did. And we're like, well, do you have any proof? And they're like, no, sorry, the cameras were off and the guards were off duty. So it's like...
Isn't there supposed to always be someone on duty, though?
There is. That's the point. That's what they're saying. Like,
they were just taking a nap? Like,
the claim is that the government, or, like, the guards killed him or something like that. Like, they beat him to death in his cell or something like that. Which I'm not saying that he didn't entirely deserve, because he was a convicted sex offender. But, I mean, everyone deserves justice, I guess.
He was going to die in jail anyway, so it's not that big of a deal.
I mean, he would have died in jail, but it's like, there was obviously just a conspiracy about, like, how he died. I'm not saying he didn't necessarily deserve what he got, or that he was a great dude, or that he should have survived a long life in prison. But, like, he was a bad dude. I still don't... It's just the fact that I don't believe that he killed himself. Like, you asked for conspiracy theories, and that is one that I...
Yeah. What about, like, ghosts?
I'm honestly not sure. I don't really... I'm going to say no. I don't really believe in ghosts. Like, give me what you mean as a concept by ghosts.
I mean, like, something that's, like, floating around that we can't see, but, like... that can maybe interact with our world in a way.
I would maybe
right, because that's how ghosts are always, like, led to be, like, whether that's on TV or whatever, because it's like, the floorboards creaking and the doors swinging open or whatever. Yeah. People are like, it's ghosts.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say no. Like, if ghosts exist, I don't think that they would be able to interact with us. I don't really, like, it would be nice to think, like, oh, someone has died and they're, like, sending, like, their love and affection and support back to us in the quote-unquote real world or whatever. Yeah. But I feel like even if ghosts were real, they wouldn't be able to interact, with people, obviously.
But that's just an assumption. What if they could?
Well, I mean, I don't really believe that they're real, so if they could, it doesn't really change the fact that I believe that they're real or not. I still don't really believe in ghosts.
Do you have any like weird stories with supernatural circumstances?
Honestly, not really, or at least none that like immediately come to mind. You have your typical like when you're younger and you're in the basement by yourself and you have to like turn the lights off and then run upstairs before the demons get you.
Yeah.
But that's just
I still do that.
That's a mental thing. Oh, dude, me too.
The lights in my basement are like way far away from the door, so it's always like, oh shoot, I gotta run.
Yeah.
I gotta
what
run.
it
Make
is
sure the
about,
demons
like,
get me. I don't know.
the human mind that we're just so afraid of, like, being alone in the dark.
Yeah, that's a weird fear. I mean, it makes sense, but
because, like, it's
it
just the
being dark
unknown.
doesn't present any new like information that you don't already have, especially if you're in a familiar place like your own house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, I know that there's nothing in my room. I know no one's broken through my window because I would hear the shattering of the glass or whatever. Maybe I don't
Yeah.
know if there's like a spider on the ceiling or something, right? But other than that, I know that there's not just someone standing 5 feet away from me at my door. But back to
Back to the conspiracy
supernatural
theories.
circumstances.
Or do you mean just supernatural? Go ahead.
So I just want to say I don't believe in ghosts or anything.
Yeah.
I have one story, though. I do have one story. Well, because this is the only one that comes to mind off the top of my head. Yeah. I was in the woods. So, like, I had this friend, and his backyard is just an entire wooded area with, like, 4 or 5 houses close, relatively speaking. This isn't important at all, but the one next to it had 3 wolves in a giant cage. But anyway, not important. I just thought they were scary.
The background context is sort of important.
It's kind of important, yeah. So we're going into the woods with, it's me and like 2 or 3 other people, and we're going into the woods, and me and this one guy are hanging out. So like we're kind of in the middle of like this valley, like there's 2 hills on either side of us, right? And we're in this valley. We're standing on this giant like fallen log, and our one friend is over the one hill, and we hear a loud like crash, and we're like, "Huh, that was interesting. Like it sounded like a tree falling." And then our one friend comes over, and he's like, "Did you just hear that tree fall?" And we were like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, the tree just fell." And we're like, uh-huh. Like,
yeah, that's
what's the big deal? Yeah, they do that sometimes. And he's like, "No, but it fell, and it was unexpected, and it was crazy, dude. Like, there was something there." And then we were like, "Oh, shoot, that's a convincing argument," because we were like 6 or 7 at the time.
Oh, yeah, I mean, of course, dude.
So for like a week straight, we were talking about this. We're like, "This is the scariest shit I've ever seen, bro," even though half of us didn't even
I was to say, you weren't even there.
I wasn't even there. But that's the only thing that really comes to mind when it comes to...
I was going to say, that's what I mean, though. Like, most of those things can just be chalked down to, like, oh, it was a coincidence, or a coincidence? That makes sense. A coincidence. It's like, oh, the wind was blowing, or, like, a bear ran into the tree and knocked it over. I don't know.
A bear? Okay, I think you'd notice that. But...
You'd probably notice the bear, for sure.
We also do not live in a bear area.
Yeah, we don't. I've never actually seen a bear. I mean, I saw one at the zoo once, I guess, but...
That counts?
In nature, never seen a bear.
In nature, yeah. Have I told this story on the podcast where I was in Alaska and a bear came up to me like 3 feet away?
I don't believe you have. I know the story.
I don't think I have. Yeah. I'll say it for the podcast. So my mom and I were in Alaska for summer vacation, which is the best place for summer vacation. First place that comes to mind.
Go somewhere cold.
Alaska. Yeah, no. It was not super cold. It was like 60 degrees every day. It was fine.
Actually, I was going to say, it's probably beautiful.
Yeah, in the summer, it's great. It's really nice. But we were in Alaska, and we decided to go on this hike. And like not 10 minutes into this hike, we're like rounding this corner, and there's this giant bush and a tree around this corner. So it was hard to see around the corner. And this bear was just standing in the bush, and we didn't like hear any leaves rustling or anything like that. And he just popped his head out, literally like 3 feet away from us. So we backed up, and then he just kind of walked the other way. It was no big deal. We had our bear spray with us though, so it was all good. If we ever needed to use it.
He just left, right?
By the way, bear spray is a complete scam. When we went to Yellowstone the year previous, there's like a huge market for bear spray because they're like, what if we encounter a bear? What do we do?
I mean,
like,
dude,
you're screwed if you encounter a bear.
It's probably a tourist trap, but it's like...
Oh, yeah, it was like $50. It was ridiculous. Back here, where there's literally no bears, I could probably get it at Target for like 10. or $15. But since you're in the middle of
so
Yellowstone, you know, it was $50, and we brought it with us. They did not let us take it out of Alaska though, which was interesting because we flew right, so we could fly into it with the bear spray, but they didn't let us take it out. I don't know why.
It can't leave its natural habitat.
But okay, whatever. I don't know. The TSA is weird about that.
How was your?
Kind of
It's so weird. I mean, I can't blame them anymore because after what's happened, 9/11, and then that situation with like turning the water bottles into bombs or whatever. Those guys got caught though. Imagine if they didn't. You have to think like, does stuff like that happen all the time and we just like don't hear about it? Because I didn't hear about that until the other day. In all honesty, it's just so weird.
I mean, yeah, you're like, if I'm a terrorist, you're gonna do anything you can to blow up a plane or whatever.
Yeah, but it's like it just. I feel like in terms of like media reporting and stuff, that would be a number one concern. But it's just, I guess I don't do enough research sometimes into the specifics.
I mean, yeah, it's the same thing. Like, we don't hear about every murder,
That's true.
Some of them get on, some reportings get on, national television, though.
I think it just depends on how many people you kill.
Well, I mean, there's that, and then there's the special case where it's like this person has the ridiculous, rare mental condition, or this or that, or whatever.
Or like there's another school shooting. People love those.
They really do.
Dude, there hasn't been one in like a month. Can you believe it?
Like 3 months at this point.
Have we really been in quarantine for 3 months? No.
Yeah, we have. I think so.
No, we started on We started on March 12th was my last day of school.
What? My last day of school was like February something, or maybe April something.
Really?
No, it was April. It was April. Yeah, we got out like the day before the governor called it off or whatever.
Yeah,
or like
so did we,
so like he called it off, and then there was like a week where public schools still had school, but I was off for that week.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my last day of school was March 13th, I believe. Whatever that Friday was, around March 13th.
Yeah, and then I think my last day was like a week before that. Somewhere around there.
That's crazy.
Quarantine has really changed us in a lot of ways. I think it's been a wake-up call for a lot of people.
I have learned, at least personally, a lot about myself and my needs during this quarantine. I definitely miss my friends and human interaction and that type of thing. Like, it's obviously super important, and I'm going to be really happy when I get to see them again. But I'm not struggling as much as I assumed I would.
No, like, I'm fine. I sit at my computer all day anyway, so
yeah,
this is like paradise for me. And I get barely any work, so I've been enjoying myself, but for other people it's hard because it's like, okay, I look at, Snapchat or TikTok for like 3 hours, and then what do? I don't have any hobbies. I go to school and I sleep. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's really hard, I feel like, as a student nowadays to have other hobbies because school is extremely time consuming.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how much you focus on it and how well you actually want to do, but yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm in 3 AP classes. I'm taking 4 next year. I got 3 tests coming up. My first AP test is in 4 days. Oh, that's so scary.
Oh, yeah. Next week is my last week of school for the year, which is weird.
Wow.
Because I'm at home.
I got to go until the 22nd.
Yeah, I get off way earlier than everyone else.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. Are you in any AP classes?
No.
Okay, yeah, that's why. I got to take...
Because I'm big, dumb, stupid.
Your GPA might be higher than mine. Who knows? I can't decide if online school is going to make it easier or harder for us to apply to college.
Right, yeah. I mean,
I've heard both sides. I've heard some people say that they're failing their classes, but they're going to be able to cheat on the AP test, so they're going to do really well. So, like, they're going to have really low grades, but really high AP scores. And some people talk about how, they're going to, fail the AP test, but their classes are really easy and they're not trying, so they're going to have really good grades.
What do you mean by, cheat on the AP test? Is it just, the AP test is easy and I'll pass, or?
No. The AP test, I mean, there's nothing they can essentially, they can flag you for security violations, in terms of if you have, other tabs open and you're on shared documents and that type of thing. Obviously, you have to log into a session, and then they can track your IP address and the and the activity.
They're tracking everything
on your device, which is fair.
You're under lockdown. Yeah, no, that's completely fair.
Which is reasonable. I mean, the test is technically speaking open note. So, like, the College Board has officially stated that the tests are open note. So if you want to,
like, at the end of the day, they can't stop it.
They can't. I mean, there are too many possible workarounds, which I feel like is so. It's not funny, but like the entire concept of school, it's like you're not gonna like. Let's just say hypothetically, you are an attorney. You're a lawyer. You're representing someone in a case. They're not going to be like, all right, this is a test. You're not going to know any of your client's personal information beforehand, and you're just going to be thrown into the court and do the best that you can with what you're given. Like, that's not how real life works. It's not like, oh, you're doing this person's taxes, but don't look at any of their test forms or their tax forms or anything like that. Like, it's like, here's a math test. You're not going to be able to look at any of your notes or use a calculator. Which is fair in terms of testing knowledge, but in terms of practicality, like in the real world, you're never going to be put in a situation like that.
It's not useful at all, no.
And it's, now that people are at home and they can just look up information at will, I feel like school, at least for me, has actually made a lot more sense. Like, some teachers are just not good at explaining things a certain way. Like, students obviously have different learning styles, and people can't appeal to all of those. I totally get it. But if I don't understand something in math now, I can just go onto YouTube and eventually find a YouTuber or a teacher of some sort that'll be like, yeah, you just do it like this, and it clicks.
Oh yeah, Khan Academy is great for that.
Oh, Khan Academy's
I've used it previously, like before all this quarantine and stuff, and that's an awesome resource.
Oh, no doubt. Especially because, my school has, we have math lab during certain periods, so we have 4th, 5th, and 6th are our lunch periods, and that is open for math lab, so if you need math help, you can go down there. My math teacher is only available during 6th period, and he's only available during 4th period, and I had 5th period lunch and 6th period study hall, so there was no way that I could see him during math lab. So, I had to use Khan Academy a lot to try to figure out what was going on in the class if I was having trouble.
But yeah, I mean, testing is interesting. Like, me personally, I'm not getting any tests. The most, like, quote-unquote testing I'm getting is I have, like, a math test that is, like, completely open note, whatever. It's just do it, and if you get the problem right, good for you, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
then I'm getting, like, an essay to write in theology, and that's about it. Which essays in theology are really easy, because it's like, I just have to talk about God and be like, God is great, because he loves us. And then my teacher's like, dude...
Brilliant.
You know what's going on. You've been paying attention.
Dude, you're the man. You know what's up. God,
it's great.
He is the shit. It's so weird. I've been writing so many essays recently. I have like 2 a week for AP Gov, and I usually have maybe 1 or 2 a week for AP Lang. And we never used to do that, like, at school. We would never do that. But now that we're online and we, quote unquote, have more time at our hands, which in most cases I don't, because every teacher thinks that we have more time on our hands. So they're like, oh, okay, well, we can just all assign you more work. And I'm like, okay, this takes me longer than, like, normal school would in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, some teachers have done a really good job of, like, making a curriculum that works for people, and others have done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get mad about it. Like, we literally had no time to prepare. Like, our school was taking off that first Friday. Like, we were planning it for, like, 2 weeks. They were like, yeah, the coronavirus is coming up. Like, we have a feeling that this could be bad, so we're taking off this Friday to help teachers prepare, like, classes and that type of thing. And then that Thursday, before we were supposed to have March 13th, that Friday off to plan, it was announced that schools would be closed for 3 weeks. And so we just had very, very minimal planning time. So I can't really blame, and this is also the first time anyone's done anything like this, obviously. It's like homeschooling, but an entire school and across the entire country. That's the nice thing, though, I guess, since it's impacting the entire country. I mean, you can't put anyone at fault. It's not like, oh, well, like the South was having a virus, so if they try to apply to schools in the North and their grades are worse because they couldn't understand what was going on because their classes were online, like, they're just screwed. Like, at least since the entire country is sort of experiencing the same thing at once, we're all in it together, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, back to what you were saying earlier, like, applying for colleges, this upcoming school year. So it's like everyone's worrying about how this is like going to affect them, and SATs and ACTs and whatnot, these national tests. Some schools are just like completely wavering them.
Yeah, I haven't taken mine yet.
Neither have I. I had an SAT scheduled. I had two scheduled, actually. The one got canceled because like school was out, so they weren't going to have it, right?
Yeah.
And the other one I was sick for, unfortunately, so I didn't get to take it. Luckily, I've got those rescheduled now, but
me too. So
for people who can't, that like what do you do,
Yeah. So we take the PSAT and the SAT when you're a junior at my school. Everyone takes the PSAT,
I do the same.
But juniors also get an opportunity to take the PSAT or the SAT for free.
Mm-hmm.
So during the PSAT, I ended up being sick. And during the SAT, my dad passed away 4 days prior. So I was out of school for like 2 weeks. So the timing of that and then the coronavirus immediately after was just very, very poor in terms of my test scores. I was supposed to take the SAT on April, I want to say it was the 15th, but I don't even remember at this point. It's been almost a month since then. And I mean, some of the schools that I want to apply to have like already announced that they're going SAT optional, so I'm not that worried about it. But
I don't know. It's a scary time. Like,
I mean, no one knows what's going to happen. That's the problem.
Yeah, we have to think like, okay, how are colleges going to react to what's happening? Obviously, every college is going to react in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I'm not stressing out or anything because I'm a pretty relaxed guy. And I feel like I don't care enough about stuff, but
yeah,
I don't know what to think,
No, I totally get it, dude. No one knows what to think. Are you kidding me? The entire nation is freaking out at the moment.
And it's weird to think like that no one's in like quote unquote control over any of this, right? Like the president can't step in and say, okay, here's what the colleges are going to do. No one makes an informed decision on that.
Yeah, no one can really do
which
that.
Is really scary because everyone has different college preferences. And, like, if every college, except the one you're actually applying to, waivers the SAT, and, and your college doesn't, and you couldn't take it, then, like, that's an unfortunate opportunity, to say the least.
It's really, it's really, really unfortunate. And it's terrible that everyone is, disadvantaged at this time, but at least everyone is disadvantaged. I know I already said this, but instead of just part of the population being disadvantaged. Like, people essentially have to be understanding of the circumstances that we're going through. Like, it's not like a college can be like, yeah, well, I mean, we're located in the area that wasn't affected by the virus while you were, so we don't have to, like, waive away your SAT, which you haven't taken. Like, you have to take it if you want to apply here. Like, they can't do that because literally the entire country is experiencing this.
Obviously, we don't know how long this thing is going to last. People say it peaked, like, a month ago or whatever, right? But
yeah,
realistically, this could last for who knows how long. So it's like, are we even going to go back to school in August after summer vacation, Or, some people go to school year round, but like, what if I have to show up on campus and wear a mask every day?
Dude, I would hate that.
I'm still there at school, so we still have kind of, like, there's more interaction, right, than online.
Yeah.
But it's not the same experience because everyone's being wary of each other. I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous.
I really hope that we can at least get everything together by, hopefully, the next academic year. I mean, obviously the government can't promise anything. We don't have a vaccine or anything.
Yeah, I mean that takes a year to make and get out to everyone. So there's really no relying on that.
Yeah,
per
absolutely.
se.
I feel like obviously we can't be 100% sure or 100% sure of anything until we have a vaccine, which can take 1 year, possibly more. But I really hope that we can get quarantine under control to the point where we can at least go back to a minimal sense of normalcy before, hopefully this upcoming academic year.
I mean, yeah, this is also, I just thought about, I'm just going to bring this up because I was thinking about it.
No, go ahead.
The economy has obviously taken a huge fall recently.
So
like,
bad.
it's absolutely insane. I'm not going to get into numbers or anything. I don't want to bore you, but the economy's down. People have lost a ton of money because the economy rides on the stock market, essentially.
Yeah, it does.
Like, that's the main driving force of the U.S. economy. Like, I mean, even if you don't think, like, even if you're not personally invested, it's always like the company that you're working for is invested, or, you know, so you might put money into the trust of like a third party, which might, you know, invest in the stock market, do that. A lot of people's lives ride on this thing. So it going down means a lot of people lose money, and with college coming up, obviously that comes around every year, but it's different for us, right? Because it's like, it's actually, it's becoming more of a reality for us. We're going into college, right?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people
So
have
it's like
that
it's harder to
stance.
pay for, and that can raise a lot of worries there.
Yeah, absolutely. I find, well, not funny. Again, keep saying that. It's not funny. It's more ironic. That a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I don't own any stocks in the stock market. Like, why should I care about the stock market? But the economy, literally, the stability of the economy relies a lot on the stock market. Everyone is affected by it, no matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you own stocks, if you own 0 or 1,000 stocks. And it doesn't matter what they're in. Everything matters.
Right. I mean, just like essentially how most things in the economy, the price, like, all depends on oil, essentially, and natural gas, because that's how everything's transported. That's how everything's shipped.
True.
The price of oil right now has been tanked drastically.
Yeah. Dude, gas, I don't know if you've been looking.
Gas is insane right now.
It's so cheap. It's so cheap. And I'm so
It's
bummed
not
out
even
because I
funny.
don't have a car to drive.
It's like $1.
Dude, it's like...
It's actually insane.
I mean, it's getting a little bit back up there. It's gaining a little bit, but I remember at the beginning of quarantine, I saw gas at my local gas station for like $1.07, and I was literally like drooling at the mouth. I was like, dude.
Oh yeah, it was insane. It was like, okay, I'll buy gas. Sure.
I could fill up my tank for like $15. Are you kidding me? That never happens. Never.
Yeah, in 2 years it'll be back at like $3 a gallon.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that.
I remember it was like that like 2 summers ago or 3 summers ago.
Yeah, it got really expensive for a while.
Mm.
But see, I didn't start driving until like last year, so.
Yeah. After all this nonsense, all this quarantine is over, is there anywhere you'd want to go, right? Like once we're allowed outside of our rooms and houses, is there any big, like if you were to go somewhere, if you were to go on a big vacation, where'd you go?
I would hands down go to visit my friend Max in San Diego, because we've been friends since 3rd grade, and he moved out there the summer before 8th grade. We've seen each other every summer since then. Like either most of the time I've flown out there. He flew in one summer 2 years ago. But this year it's looking a little slim on the chances of us getting together. So
right.
I'm a little bummed out about that, so I hope that when this is over, I might get a chance to go visit him over like winter break or something. But who knows? We could still be in quarantine then. Oh my god.
Yeah, we really don't know. But do you have anywhere that you'd want to go as like a trip or a vacation or anything like that?
Well, if I weren't
like what's on your bucket list?
Not that in terms of bucket list trips. I've always wanted to go to the Bahamas. I feel like that's, you know, a lot of people talk about it, crystal clear blue waters. That's something I've always wanted to see in person that I've never really gotten a chance to.
Yeah.
I like to surf, actually. I'm not that good, but I can hold my own decently well. And it's pretty fun. I got to try it again when I went to go to San Diego. Definitely a positive experience. It was a good time. I'm going to say that I would like to go to either England or Ireland and maybe do a trip between the two, just go around the UK. I have a lot of family over there that I've never met that I would love to. And obviously there's not a language barrier in that case, except for all the, you know, heavily drunk Irish people where their accents are like too heavy to understand.
It is indistinguishable.
I think it's so funny though. My uncle did come to visit one time and he got totally wasted. And let's just say, despite him being drunk, it was a very good time for the rest of us. So yeah, I don't know. I've never met them, and you know, there's a lot of people on my dad's side that I've just never met, and they seem like really, really interesting people. I have cousins in Australia too. I've only ever met them like twice, and that's when they've come to the States. So I'd love to maybe get a chance to go down there.
Australia would be cool. I want to go see at some point like the 7 wonders of the world. I think that'd be cool. I think that's kind of a dumb answer because like everybody wants to do that, but
no. I feel like that's a legitimate thing though. Everyone wants to do it because it's cool as shit.
Yeah, but it's like some of the wonders are like, so the Colosseum's pretty cool, the pyramids are pretty cool, but it's like, what am I going to go do at Stonehenge? You know?
Not much.
Right.
Enjoy it. I don't know.
So to get a bit more creative here, I would love to go to Japan. Japan's number one on my list.
Yeah, I want to go to Japan.
There. Greece would be really cool. My mom and I want to go to Iceland at some point. And then Russia. Those are the big ones on my list.
I feel like Japan would be really cool. Russia would be cool too. But Japan is definitely high on the list. I would definitely try to go during like the spring, during cherry blossom season.
Cherry blossom season, yeah.
You know? A beautiful time of year. It feels so weird that this has become the new normal. I feel like it's going to be really hard to adjust once we get back to not Corona.
Right.
Like there are some... Like, obviously, this has been pretty negative overall for society, but, like, there have been some positives, too. Emission rates are at an all-time low within the past, like, I think 20 years or something like that.
20 years, really?
Yeah. Let me think about this. There are dolphins back in the canals of Venice. I mean, people are obviously driving less. Like, they're still on the roads, but, like, not as much.
Right.
So there's less gas emissions in terms of that. A lot of factories are being closed because they can't work or they can't produce a product, which is bad for the economy, but good for the
environment. Which is bad for, like, everyone except for the
grass. Who doesn't love grass? Am I right? Cows love grass. Cows are bad for the environment.
Oh, yeah, that's so dumb, isn't it? They like, fart a lot and it produces a bunch of carbon or something.
I thought that was so funny.
Thing
that
with
is the whole reason. Their gas has a lot of methane in it, and it is damaging the ozone layer.
We're making too much milk.
Yeah. I feel like, meat, too. Everyone's like, oh, go vegan. And that's really the only reason I would ever support that cause. It's not because I'm like, oh, I love all
for the
animals.
Environment, yeah.
It's just for the environment. The planet's going to kill us if we don't do something. I mean, I guess we're going to kill ourselves through the planet if we don't fix anything. But, we'll still end up dead either way.
You know what else is harmful to us?
The coronavirus?
Nah. You're supposed to say what, and then I'm supposed to...
Here, you can restart the bit.
Let's restart. You know what else is harmful to us, Henry?
I don't. What's that, Jackson?
Vaping. And here's why you shouldn't vape.
I'm not laughing because I vape. Don't worry, I'm not an idiot. I have a really good excuse not to either.
Why is that?
Well, see, I run a lot, so I'm in decently okay shape, at least at the moment. Actually, not at the moment. I have been running.
Hold on, I think I know where this is going. You need lungs to run, and if you vape, it damages your lungs.
I can't run. No, I don't know why I started with that point. That doesn't make any sense. I have asthma, and the reason I run a lot is
that's a good reason not to
most
vape.
Of that. And to be honest with you, my lungs are in very, very good health in comparison to most people's because I run a lot, even though I have asthma. But I still technically had /
I thought you were going to say because I don't vape.
No. So if someone's like, hey, dude, you want to try a hit at my vape? I can be like, nah, sorry, bro, I got asthma. And even though it sounds like the lamest excuse ever, it works like 95% of the time. And
I mean, I'm pretty sure like saying no also works.
Yeah, but
probably
if you say
100% of the time,
and then back it up with a reason, it just seems more legitimate, I'm just saying, like, I've never been in a situation where I've been like peer pressured into it, where they're like, oh, dude, you have to try this vape. Like,
you have to vape, otherwise you can't come into our study group, bro.
I won't let you use the bathroom. Dude, so many people vape in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
I walked in once and this dude was just taking a hit. It was so funny. He was like, don't tell. And I was like, I'm not going to.
I don't care enough to. It's like the school knows. They're just not going to do anything.
Dude, they're fully aware. Someone got suspended, I think, one time from my school for vaping. It was only for like 2 days, but still. Good on them for being adamant about it. Like, kids are stupid. I'm stupid. Teenagers are really stupid.
Really stupid.
I mean, our brains aren't fully developed, and they're full of hormones, which makes it even worse.
Yeah. I had a friend who, I went to grade school with him, and when we went to high school, I kind of lost contact with him because we didn't, like, have any mutual classes or anything like that. We weren't really the best of friends. And, like, just recently, just a couple months ago, like 3 or 4 months ago, my one friend comes up and he's like, hey, did you know that so-and-so just got expelled? And I'm like, what?
Dude,
why did that happen?
No way, dude.
And it just turns out he was smoking a bunch of weed. So, I mean.
Like a bunch?
Like a bunch of weed.
I'm sort of
like he failed his drug test twice.
That's not funny.
It's pretty funny.
I just think, like I know that I make bad decisions sometimes. Not like harmful decisions for my health, but it'll just be like, this paper's due in 2 days, and I could get a head start on it today, or I'll just wait until tomorrow. And then most of the time, I'll just wait until tomorrow. I mean, stupid shit like that. I don't, do drugs or vape or inject bath salts like into my feet or whatever they do these days.
What? I have not heard about that.
I haven't either.
I don't know where you're getting your news, buddy, but
dude, kids do some weird shit.
The whole vaping culture is interesting to me because, like, I think a lot of people go on the logic that it's not as bad as cigarettes, so we're okay. Which is why all the ads that I get on Spotify, because I don't have Spotify Premium, all the ads I get on Spotify are saying, vapes are actually bad for you, just like cigarettes. That's like every anti-vaping ad on Spotify.
That should be the ad.
That is the ad.
I feel like people might even, like, at least at my school, I feel like people are obviously aware of the risks. They just don't listen.
I don't know if it's more that they don't listen or they don't understand the whole idea of what's actually happening.
I feel like that is definitely something really hard. If you don't have firsthand experience with something, it's really hard to empathize and understand with the message, I guess you could say. Like, in terms of the coronavirus, like, I'm tired of being stuck inside, which is fair. But, like, I'm not going to go out and protest my right to, like, go to the grocery store. That's kind of stupid. You can already go to the grocery store. But, like, people are going out there and, like, risking their lives and being like, I want to go back to work. And I personally do not know a single person who has had that virus. So I would consider myself very lucky. But, like, it makes it obviously hard to understand the real effects when I don't know anyone who has had it. Like, I hear things in the news and they're like, oh, like, the death toll is at, like, 78,000, which is a ton of people. But it just makes it, like, unless you have firsthand experience with something, I feel like it makes it really hard in some cases. And that applies to, like, multiple situations, such as people who are vaping and they aren't seeing the negative results. So they're like, oh, yeah, I'm probably fine.
Right. I mean, like, you said you didn't know anyone that has it. Like, I don't either. But to take it to an even further extent, I don't know anyone that knows anyone that has it.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
two branches out, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, that's not true. My friend was at a party. And at that party, they met someone who knew someone who had the coronavirus. So
that's like three branches up.
Well, okay, sorry. So I know someone who was at a party with someone who had the virus, or like was tested positive for the virus, but like no one else at the party had it or got it from that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird though. I mean, like, that's the thing though. Like, I don't want to act desensitized to it because that's just insensitive. Like, there are people who are literally dying. And we should continue to stay inside and respect the laws and that type of thing. Like, that's important. Like, wear your mask when you go out. I go to work every other day, and I have to wear a mask and gloves, which is totally legitimate. Like, I hate it, and it fogs up my vision sometimes when I breathe into my own eyes. But, like, if it's keeping people safe, I will gladly do it.
But, I mean, at the same time, like, I can get people's perspective that it's like, this is stupid. I really do not need to be at home. I work in an office of, like, 40 people. Why do we have to be laying off workers if the economy's crashed when this really shouldn't even happen at all? Like,
that perspective,
we need to do something,
understand.
Right?
Like,
no, we do. We have to get it. We have to get going again. Like, this has been too long. This has been too drawn out. It's the actions we've been taking. I think a lot of them are necessary, but I think some of them are taken to a level that's too drastic for what we need.
Oh, absolutely. Have you seen what Sweden has been doing? They've been declared by multiple news outlets, quote unquote, that
like the best. They're reacting the best.
Yeah, they're reacting the best. So if you are someone who should be in quarantine, like if you're an at-risk individual, like let's say you have a immune deficiency, or you have like cystic fibrosis, that's an immune deficiency, I guess, or if you're elderly, or if you have any sort of predisposed condition that would for some reason make you more at risk to get and be killed by the coronavirus, you have to stay inside. Like, you are, well, actually, I guess you don't even have to. You're just recommended to stay inside, like wear your mask, be safe, try not to go out unless you really, really need to. But everyone else is then left to carry on leaving the at-risk population at home safe and the rest of the country to continue to build the economy and, I mean, not flourish, obviously, because,
Right.
People still have to stay home. So there is a majority, well, not a majority. There's a group of people who are obviously still at home and not working, but it still keeps the country, in terms of economic prosperity, at least it has something going for it. Like, in our case,
it's not operating at like 100%, but we're keeping it as high as we can.
Exactly. Like in the case of America, we just entirely stopped.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, like I still go to work and I'm only 17, and I would not say that my job as a Chick-fil-A drive-thru employee is essential to the economy.
Right, but like, barbers and whatever else aren't allowed back to work.
Yeah.
Just seems kind of silly, almost.
It is a little silly, but I think I'm just salt that I need a haircut. Like, I understand why. Especially barbers. Like, you're cutting people's hair, there's germs on that shit, and it gets on the floor, and then it's just a cesspool of bacteria. Like you're sitting in a petri dish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if everyone did what they were supposed to, and they wore their masks and stayed 6 feet apart from people, apparently the virus would stop. Australia cut down their cases by 90% when people started wearing masks. So, like, they made it mandatory.
I know some stores around here, it's mandatory. You can't go in without a mask.
Yeah.
Some there, they just don't care. But, like, I walked into Five Guys, and, like, all the employees were wearing masks, obviously, but no one there cared about social distancing or whatever. Everyone was standing in line perfectly behind each other. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I went to the grocery store the other day, and I had to stand 6 feet apart from someone.
I was just going to say grocery stores, they put lines on the ground for like every 6 feet to like give you a point of where to stand. And in fact, some grocery stores, they have, well, in our state, all grocery stores have like, all stores actually have maximum occupancy. So there'll be on some days lines of people waiting outside to go into the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not standing 6 feet apart, I went to the park just recently with my mom. We will walk in the park near our house. And the weird thing about the park is, like, last year, if you went in the middle of summer, like a nice day in July or whatever, like barely anybody would be there.
Oh, exactly.
But now every parking space is taken up.
It's the only thing
there are people parking on the side of the road. It's like, it's insane.
Oh, dude, my friends and I, we go down to run by this park by my house. And there have been multiple occasions. This has never happened in the entirety of me going to this park. And it's been like 2 years that we've been running there now. It has never happened where every single parking spot has filled up. And I'd say like 2 out of the past, maybe 5 times, none of us could find a parking spot. We had to like drive up this hill and park around and then run down the hill so we could do our normal course. It's insane. I mean, it's funny that everyone's really adamant about following the rules. They're like, oh yeah, like they said we could go on walks in parks and stuff. So they do that, but then people don't like respect social distancing and they just like hold hands and skip and spit in each other's mouths and, the whole shebang. Like, I feel like people are really selective of what they choose to follow in terms of regulations.
Right. I mean, I see people, like a group of like 5 or 6 people walking up the whole path, walking down, and all of them are carrying like a dog or whatever with them, which is stupid. Why are you carrying your dog? Just walk it.
If you can carry your dog, though, that usually means that it's small enough for you to step on,
I don't see how that's relevant.
I'm just trying to make a point. I don't understand it either, in all honesty. But, my dog is not that big. I mean, she's medium-sized, but, like, I wouldn't carry her. She can walk. She's not incapable.
Anyway.
People are weird.
But, like, my point is, like, you have people in, like, groups of 5 or 6 or whatever walking 2 feet apart or whatever, and then you have, like, an older couple who's, like, 6 feet apart who probably live in the same house and they're both wearing masks. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Again, people are just
some
really
people take it way too far. Some people don't care at all.
Yeah. I feel like I'm decently, like, in the middle. I feel like I'm at a good spot. It's so weird, though.
I think this is a good place to stop.
Yeah, you want to stop it here?
You got to do the intro, yeah.
It's the outro, actually, but...
The outro. It's 12:41. I don't
All right,
care.
I'm going to just do it now. All right, everyone, thank you for tuning in. This has been episode 5 of the Pink and Blue podcast. Our socials are going to be in the description. You can find us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Music, and Spotify. Well, Apple Podcasts. And thank you for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day.